What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update and related news information. The elections are likely turning the tide of the stimulus check negotiations. Mitch McConnell is being a negative Nancy, talking about he might not want to do a stimulus check right away, or he might want to do another smaller stimulus package, even though he has been voted down several different times on passing a smaller stimulus package, while Nancy, the actual Nancy, is now being optimistic to get a deal done after the election, along with President Donald Trump. The real question is who will be in power after the election? Will Mitch McConnell even be reelected? Will Nancy Pelosi even be reelected? Will President Donald Trump even be reelected? And who will control the House and the Senate? Will it be the Democrats or will it be the Republicans? The reality of it is the elections has everything to do with stimulus. The tide and the fate of this election is going to completely determine what will happen in the future. Right after the elections, will they make a push to get a stimulus package done right away? President Donald Trump has said numerous times that he wants to pass a package right after the election. That's, of course, if he doesn't do it with a last minute presidential executive order. I have no idea why he wouldn't do it. I mean, I know that some people say he can't do it, and some people say it's questionable, it's a gray area, but they said that about the last one with the unemployment presidential executive order. I have no idea why he shouldn't do it. Why not do it today or tomorrow? There's still a few days before the elections. Why not pass it now? The Democrats will have no idea what hit them on how they could possibly combat that a day before the election. But everybody going to the polls on actual election day, which is still the majority of Americans, will be like, wow, he's still trying to help us. I mean, yeah, maybe I was on the fence. I wasn't sure if I was going to vote for him, but now he's passing the stimulus check. So he must actually really want to help the people. And again, I'm not saying that as a Republican or a Democrat. I'm saying that that is what people could be thinking going to the polls if he said, all right, Congress couldn't get it done. I'm going to pass a stimulus check through a presidential executive order. I know I did it once with the unemployment, but that might not have helped everybody. I'm going to do it again because Congress can't do squat. And we've been sitting here for months waiting for Congress to make up their mind. And Nancy Pelosi, as he said in that one interview when they asked him, they said, President, why haven't you passed more stimulus? And he goes, because of Nancy Pelosi. I still laugh today about how he said that. Nancy Pelosi. So he could literally throw it in Nancy Pelosi's face, who is his arch enemy, his arch nemesis, and say, listen, Nancy Pelosi has been the one preventing you from getting another stimulus check and another unemployment extension benefit and more money to the people, more money to the economy. Everybody's struggling. Nancy Pelosi has had it as her political agenda to not pass this. You know what? I'm just going to do it myself through a presidential executive order. Why wouldn't he do that? And again, I'm not saying this as a Republican or a Democrat because I'm just looking at it rationally. If I was the president and I wanted to win the reelection, why would I not do that? I mean, he did it before and it passed. They didn't challenge it. Even if they do challenge it, they're going to challenge it right before the election. I still strongly, to this day, think he should do it. I know we only have a few days left. A lot of people have already voted, but I really think he should do it if he wants to win this election. I mean, he's behind, but this could give him that extra 5% bump that he needs to possibly win this election. As you can see in the national polls, President Donald Trump is behind by 6.8% in the national pollings, basically the popular vote. He's behind by 6.8%. Now, he's come a long way because he was down by 14% just a few days ago. So he's cut that in half plus some. He was actually at 6.0% yesterday, so it has fluctuated a little bit. But the problem is President Donald Trump is behind in a lot of the swing states, the battleground states such as Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Florida and Georgia. He's behind by a few percent in all of these states. And these are states that he will likely have to win if he wants to be reelected. Now, the interesting thing about these battleground states is he won a lot of them. Look at Ohio, is actually a dead even tie. He won a lot of these in the past election, 2016 election, but when they passed the last stimulus check back in March, and it took a little bit of time to go out, when they passed that, the president's approval rating shot up by 5%. So imagine what 5% could do in a lot of these states where he's slightly losing, like Georgia, where he's losing by 2%, Florida, where he's losing by 3%, North Carolina, where he's losing by 2%, this one Nebraska district where he's losing by 3%. There's all these states where he's losing. Look at Arizona, 1%. I mean, these 1, 2, 3% swings are likely going to be the difference in the entire election. Now, Joe Biden doesn't really have these luxuries because he's not the current president. The current president has a lot more luxuries because he can do things like presidential executive orders and declare national emergencies, which President Donald Trump already has done. He's already declared this a national emergency, this pandemic. So he has more power. I've gone over it in past videos, but the president has a surprisingly huge amount of power during a national emergency, which was already declared. And honestly, I really have no thoughts, no reason why he shouldn't pass a presidential executive order, besides the fact that he possibly can't do it. But the thing about that is that just from everything I've read and everything I've learned is that it's mostly Democrats that say he can't do it. And most of like the true analysts that really know what they're talking about think it's a gray area because this money has already been approved by Congress. There's up to $800 billion just sitting there from the first stimulus package. So if this money is already sitting there, it's already been approved, Congress has already approved it for stimulus, why can't he do that through a presidential executive order and just redirect it? I personally think he can. I do think it's a gray area. Again, I'm not for Trump or against Trump. I mean, I've bashed Trump before. I've praised Trump before. I like to look at things just realistically. I personally think it's a huge mistake if he doesn't try to pass this through executive order. And I think it would be a huge win for him if he did do it through executive order. Even if the Democrats said, no, we're going to challenge it in court and hold it up for months, he would be able to say, listen, guys, I tried to pass a stimulus check for you. They don't want to do it. Do you really want to elect Democrats? And again, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm just saying that it's pretty much a win-win situation for the president to do this executive order for a stimulus check. Do it either today or tomorrow, right before the election. The Democrats will be scrambling. They won't have any idea what to do. They're all up for re-election too, so they're concentrating on their own campaigns. They're not going to be able to launch a countersuit to try to stall it that close to the election. You won't get the check until after the election, but that'll be a moot point, okay? Because once he passes it, if they don't challenge it, it goes through. So basically, he passes a presidential executive order, it goes through. You get the check unless they challenge it in court. Whether it's a gray area or not, let's just say we know it's a gray area. We're not sure if he can or can't. Some things say you can, especially because of the previous precedent that he already did it with the unemployment money, pretty much almost the exact same scenario. Money that was already approved for pandemic relief, disaster relief. He just basically used that for unemployment money for people that were affected by the pandemic. They lost their jobs. He could do the exact same thing with money that's already approved in almost the exact same way and just use that for a stimulus check, which he said previously he wanted to do. Now, I personally thought that he was maybe just holding that in the background, waiting till close to election day. But now I'm starting to think, it's getting really close to election day. And if you're going to do it, it's now or never, bro. Like, listen, people need help. You need votes, okay? If not, if you want to just go silently into the night and take your chances, I mean, then whatever. But this would give you millions of more votes. It's almost been guaranteed. I mean, anybody that's ever talked about it knows for sure it will guarantee him millions of more votes. There's so many people right now that are struggling that would be so thankful that he just stepped in, and Congress, who hasn't helped anybody recently, they're not helping no one. So at least he would be able to say, listen, I stepped in, I helped you. And if he doesn't do it, guess what? Then he gets none of the credit, he gets none of the praise. And then who knows what could happen? We're going to find out here in a few days, 2 to 3 days from now. But I think it's a huge mistake if he doesn't do it. Because if he does do it, we get the stimulus check, and then they're still working on the negotiations with the stimulus package. So then we could get another stimulus check along with all the other things, such as the unemployment money, the money for mortgage and rental assistance, the student loan forgiveness, all the other things, unemployment, bonus money, all the other things that come in the stimulus package, which is what we really need. Okay, but we would get a check now to at least tide people over a little bit, help them out now. Then in the next few weeks or whenever they get the next package passed, then we get more. And honestly, this personally goes right into what President Donald Trump has said. He said numerous times, go for the larger package, go for the more money, because it all comes back to Americans anyways. I mean, he puts money into all your guys' pockets. You go and you pay your rent, you pay your food, you pay your car payment. You use it on the economy. The money goes to your car, to the car payment company. It goes to the grocery stores, who then pay the employees so that they can feed their families. It just props up our economy all around. And that's what the stimulus has done recently. And now that we're seeing the virus cases surge and we're seeing that stimulus money wear off, that's now why we're seeing record stock market losses. And heaven forbid, when the stock market starts to drop like a rock, what do? They step in and pass more stimulus money. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, because I would love to know your thoughts on what you think about this presidential executive order stimulus check. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, with the election right around the corner, Washington, D.C., police and businesses are actually starting to board up the city in preparation for riots and unrest, regardless of who wins, apparently. Multiple businesses in Washington, D.C. are actually starting to board up their businesses ahead of time, as you can see in this picture here. Before the election, before anything even happens, we know what happened just a few months ago with all the protests and riots in the past. And Washington, D.C. is already preparing for it ahead of time. And let's hope that something like this doesn't happen. Our country is divided enough. Now, although Joe Biden is ahead in a lot of the swing states, President Donald Trump is counting on what he calls the silent majority of people, or Republicans, or independents that might vote Republican, to vote for him again this time, the people he counted on last time, to give him that last minute edge to basically come ahead and win the election. However, pollster Robert Calais of the Trafalgar Group used an unorthodox polling method to correctly predict 5 swing states in 2016, and says that those same swing states has lots of undercounted voters that will again vote for and re-elect President Donald Trump in those most important swing states going into the 2020 election. The one thing I do know is I think it's going to be a pretty tight race, and I think it's also going to be very interesting to see if the Democrats or the Republicans control the House and the Senate after these re-elections, because if the Democrats control it or the Republicans control it, we could see a very dynamic and changing stimulus check negotiation afterwards. And if either party controls both the House and the Senate, we could have stimulus passing left and right, as if they have total control, either party has total control of the House and the Senate, it'll likely be a free-for-all to pass as many bills as they can before the other party comes into power 2 years later. So if either party wins outright, we could have a lot of dramatic bills passing very quickly. I will keep you guys updated as new information comes out. Don't forget to give this video a like down below and subscribe down below if you're new here so you don't miss out on new videos coming out regarding the second stimulus check and the 2020 elections, along with Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell's re-elections. I will be covering it all on election day. You can click on these top videos here to watch my newest stimulus check videos next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.